Welcome to the first edition of William & Mary Television's Flat Hat Insider. I'm Lauren Stephenson. Each week we will preview the latest stories from the Flat Hat and go in depth on one story with a special guest. The front page story in the current issue of the Flat Hat looks at the ethics of biomedical research taking place in university and international labs. The U.S. government, worried about the possibility of the information falling into the hands of bioterrorists, sought to prevent publications of findings by scientists at the University of Wisconsin and Erasmus Medical Center in the Netherlands. The scientists developed a version of the H5N1 bird flu virus that is more transmissible between mammals. The Flat Hat interviewed assistant biology professor here at William & Mary, Kurt Williamson, who teaches a course on virology. Williamson discussed his experience with government research regulations. In other news featured in the latest edition of the Flat Hat, the campus memorial service for the freshman Troy Pellish was held Monday at the Wren Chapel. College President Taylor Reevely, Reverend Jeffrey Buffkin, and several of Pellish's friends addressed the assembled college students. Pellish was found dead in his residence hall Sunday, February 12th, of an apparent suicide, although the medical examiner's office has yet to release an official cause of death. The second annual Active Citizens Conference was held on campus this weekend. The event drew students from 30 universities in more than 13 states and 15 nonprofit agencies. Student Assembly President Kaveh Sadegian attended the conference and worked to promote it by creating a video focusing on the event's theme of helping hands. Members of the college's Wizards and Muggles Club held their very own Yule Ball Wednesday, February 14th. Named after the dance held at Hogwarts in the Harry Potter series, the event raised money for a as yet undecided children's literacy charity. Club members meet weekly to discuss the novels and play games, and many participate in the school's Quidditch team. Do you know gamers have needs too? The Student Assembly Senate discussed a bill that would allocate funds to update the video games currently in the Sadler Center gaming room. The Gamers Have Needs Too Act was submitted by Douglas Haynes Law, a senator representing the senior class. Haynes said that the gamers of the college are disappointed with the older games the game room offers and would like the Student Assembly to provide more current titles. The Senate also discussed allocating funds toward food at Admitted Students Day. And now to the interview. Each week we will have a guest to discuss a popular story from the week. This week we have Cassie Cole, co-president of the Lambda Alliance. She will join us in a moment, but first for some background on the top story of the week. The college has scored a 3.5 out of 5 in the Campus Climate Index, an evaluation of a college's friendliness on policies, programs, and practices towards LGBT groups on campus. The college received perfect marks in the categories of LGBT support, institutional commitment, and student life, while receiving low scores for both campus safety and policy inclusion. Lambda Alliance co-president Cassie Cole said the shortcomings are likely not entirely the college's decision, and with that, we welcome Cassie Cole. Welcome, Cassie. Thank you so much for joining us. So how is this not entirely the school's decision or fault?
Yeah, so the main thing I feel like people should know about the rankings is that it's all very concrete and itemized. So every point is a point for having a program or a person in a specific position or policy. And so when it comes to the policy section and the safety section, those aren't subjective measures of anything. It's whether the college has specific programs put in place. The reason why the 1.5 is there for this security is because, well, there's 3 things on it, and 2 of the things that are missing are training for like campus police officers and security guards. So it's not because there's a high rate of violence or anything like that. It's because there's not safety training, basically, for the officers. And for the policies and procedures section, that's primarily because there isn't gender identity or expression in the college's anti-discrimination policy, and we also don't have, I believe, full benefits for same-sex partners. So that's, which are very much to do with the politics of the state, and not really necessarily the will of the administration.
Now, something else that the article talks about is gender-neutral housing on campus. We don't have that. It has been discussed, but we don't have that. What's your response to that, and how does that play into the rankings?
Yeah, part of the rankings was whether the campus has gender-neutral housing or not. a gender-neutral option, and we don't. And students have been trying to get gender-neutral housing on campus for years. Jessie Vasselt, who graduated last year, was really heavily involved in that. And it's not really, our explanation that we've gotten is that it's just not possible politically within the state. That with a really particularly conservative legislature and a conservative governor, we could risk losing funding, we could risk state action, so it's just not really viable for the school. The school did a couple of years ago introduce adaptive housing, which is for transgender students who have a problem rooming with people of the same gender or same sex. They can get a special room, not a special room, but like a single. They can be put forward in that process above other students. So that's kind of the college's response that they can do. They haven't really been able to get gender-neutral housing.
One more question. What is the Lambda Alliance doing to help the school improve their lower scores on campus safety and inclusion on campus?
Well, the group as a whole isn't super active with the administration. It's mostly me and a few other students that have been working on it for the past couple of years, meeting with administrators, talking about how, new policies that we can introduce and new programs to make life easier for LGBT students. And, we always bring up issues like gender-neutral housing with the understanding that it's way far down the road. And we're mostly focused on training at this point, sensitivity training for faculty and staff and that kind of thing. Because we can do that. There's nothing really stopping us from doing that. And it can make a really big difference in day-to-day interaction. So
great. Well, Cassie Cole, co-chair of the Lambda Alliance, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And that's all the time we have. For more stories, pick up the latest edition of The Flat Hat and check us out on our website, flathatnews.com. And be sure to follow William and Mary Television and The Flat Hat on Twitter. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. I'm Lauren Stephenson.